Welcome to the 2 Decades Too Late podcast. This is the podcast in which we rate and review an album that is turning 20 years old, mostly metal for whatever it's worth. Josh and I didn't even do the hanging out with Josh thing. I missed the main bit. Anyway, yeah. Josh is here too.
Yeah,
I'm Brad.
People know. People assume.
Yeah, I guess it's really just the same. It's not like we're getting a broader audience all of a sudden.
Or a third co-host, I guess.
Right. But yeah, Josh and I give a rating of 1 to 5 to 4 different parameters for an individual maximum point total of 20 and a combined maximum point total of 40. What are we reviewing this week, Josh?
This week we have Blast Tyrant from Clutch. Pretty clutch.
Awesome.
Or if you're so inclined, Blast Tyrant Atlas of the Invisible World with illustrations of strange beasts and phantoms, which is the full unabridged title of the album. And
man, I didn't even know that.
If that doesn't clue you in to what's about to happen, I guess you don't pick up on anything. You're a refrigerator, not a human being.
Refrigerator. Oh, man. So, listen, I've known of Clutch, and I'm going to try to take you back to see if you remember. On Metalomania in around 1999.
Yeah.
That's when I was, and I don't know if you as well, but that's when I was introduced to Clutch. Because they had the music video for, why can't I think of the song title? Shogun Named Marcus.
Okay.
Do you remember that song?
I don't remember.
Bop, wop, shamboo, domo eri gato if I got to.
I do remember that now that you say it.
That's it. And I ended up looking it up because I didn't know it came out in 1993.
Oh,
Jesus.
Yeah, that was like their lead-off hit, I guess.
Yeah.
So they formed in 91, which blew my mind. They were 13 years old by the time they released this album. And
goodness.
Five previous albums to this. And like you said,
that is bananas.
That kind of breakout song, 93 on their Transnational Speedway League album.
That is just anthems, anecdotes, and undeniable truths is the unabridged version of that album title.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, this band is awesome. Everything they do is awesome. And if you go back and listen to that, what is it, Neil Fallon?
Yeah.
Sounds almost like he's doing like harsh metal-ish kind of vocals. It's weird.
I can see that.
Yeah, well, he's in the Mastodon song, Blood and Thunder.
That's true. Yeah, he's not so far from that, just even on this album.
No. This fucking album. So that's that's a long time to be. So, I mean, they've been a band for, 30 years-ish?
91, 30.
So 33? Wow.
That means...
And no wonder they have such a cult following. My God.
Yeah, and interestingly enough, and a lot of the reviews at this point would hit on it, they kind of have stayed just in their lane, in their own little creative bubble. They've got their niche sound. They've got their niche audience. I mean, they can spread out to mainstream success here and there, but by and large, they just tour a shitload and do re-releases of albums and live stuff, and they don't market a whole lot. They just are Clutch and kind of one of the pillars of stoner rock.
Yeah, and I watched an interview with the guitar player. Because, this is obviously Blast Tyrant's 20th anniversary, so people are talking about it.
Oh, yeah. How about that?
Yep. This is their first time playing Bloodfest, which is pretty cool. And the dude interviewing him is like, how was it going, before Blast Tyrant? And he goes, I mean, every album our label wanted to, drop us. He's like, we just... Like, I guess that maybe it was the Elephant Riders. No, he said that was where it kind of picked up a little bit. But like their first couple albums sold like 1,500 copies in the first week, like nothing at all. And they kept like almost not wanting to try to push them in a direction because they didn't even know what that would look like. So they just were like, we don't even want to deal with this band. I have no idea what to do with it.
Interesting note on that. This album was released on DRT. It was their first release on this label. Their previous label, their like A&R rep got fired from the company, and then like all acts that were under that guy got dropped.
Nice.
Yeah.
That sounds about right.
Right.
And it was funny because he even talked about it like, I don't know how much any of you out there even think about this, but the music industry is a fucking shit show. It's basically indentured servitude still.
Yeah.
I mean, that's more, they basically get you and then you're a slave to whatever obnoxious terms that they made you sign because what other choice do you have? It's like,
not even, like not even, it's almost in the literal sense. It really is.
Yeah, it's a really terrible, terrible place. And he talked about it and he's like, but we just didn't care. He was like, they could have dropped us. That's fine. And then they did, and it was fine. Yeah. It's like, we just never really cared. He's just, but back then, there was no way to do it without a label.
Right.
And so it was just impossible. But
since 2008, they've had their own label, Weathermaker.
Yeah. And they basically put out Jam Room. He's like, we were going to put it out ourselves. I guess I haven't listened to it yet, but he says Jam Room is like the weirdest compilation of songs maybe in their entire career.
I could see that.
Yeah, and he's like, and we were just going to put it out ourselves. Just luckily there was a label that was like, no, we'll help out. I mean, it's fine.
Jam Room being the 1999 album, so like still a good few years, half a decade prior to this album. Why don't you tell me who the members of Clutch are?
Strange for a band to be around this long and have so few members. Like it's, I mean, I can tell you who's on the album and then also tell you who's been in the band the whole time.
Right.
But on the album specifically, and again, this is no different than the list of members who have been there since 1991, because I think Neil Fallon started as like an instrumental contributor more than a vocalist. They had a vocalist.
Yeah, that vocalist just kind of pieced out, and Neil Fallon was a schoolmate of the other founding members and just kind of hopped in. And then I think they had a keyboard player for a few years, and he has since passed away.
Yeah. Also, keyboard player for them seems like it would be Clutch. I doubt it's the only one I'm going to do. Anyway.
I hope it is.
Yeah. We got Neil Fallon on vocals, rhythm guitar, and organ. Also, excellent guitar player.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, we'll talk about it. Tim Salt.
Walking back the piano, like knowing that he plays organ, I'm now much more like, oh, that tracks more than them having a separate keyboard player.
It does. Yeah. Yeah, for sure. And we got Tim Salt on lead guitar, Dan Maines on bass, interestingly enough, the only one without a wiki link.
Yeah.
Strange. And then John Paul Gaster, which is one of the coolest names I've ever heard in my life, on drums. And my God, what a tour de force of musicianship these human beings.
Yeah. They can play some songs.
Good Lord. I'm just going to say right now, Neil Fallon might be the best vocalist in like rock, stoner metal, whatever you want to call it. Like the shit he can do is crazy.
Let's support that.
Yeah. His range, it's just insane. It's like, yeah, you want to hear the gravelly southern sort of Baptist sound? Got it. You want to hear cleans? Got it. You want me to be on a Mastodon song where I straight up do harsh vocals that sound better than the Mastodon vocalist doing harsh vocals? Yes. So yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah, I'm surprised. I'm surprised so far that you've had so much to say on it. Like, I can't believe you held this all in. I'm really glad
I
we didn't talk about it before.
No, seriously, and just so everyone knows, and we've pointed out this out multiple times, we purposely don't talk about the albums leading up to the recording, so it's kind of organic or whatever. This was the hardest one so far. Like, because as much as I've known about Clutch for, like close to 30 years, and as much as I've listened to, I don't know, 5, 6 songs.
Yep.
You know what I mean? They're all good. I have no idea why I've never gotten into an entire album, and that is such a massive mistake on my part. Apparently,
maybe.
Like I feel like a fucking idiot. I'm like, this has just been sitting here for 20 years, being this.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
Yeah, and the 5 or 6 songs that we have listened to are like they span the entire catalog. Like the first one you mentioned, Mob Goes Wild on this album, Burning Beard is on the next one in 2005. 50,000 Unstoppable Watts is 3 albums later in 2009. That's like all the Clutch songs that I listened to. So,
did you listen to Earth Rocker?
No.
Man, it seems shocking that I wouldn't have made you listen to that.
I mean,
I think you were still, because I was at 2013, I think, when Earth Rocker came out. I'm probably making that.
Yep. Nope. Dead on. 2013.
Nailed it. Yeah. Earth Rocker is such a good song. Again, why? It's not like all these songs that we're talking about are like fine either. They're all great. Yeah. So it's like, I don't know. I don't know.
I don't know. Yeah,
Here we are.
But, I mean, I will say, at least for me, like, I have to be in the right mood for this. Especially to listen to, like, a full 54 and a half minutes of it.
Yeah.
But.
Which, at first glance, scared me to death.
Yeah.
I was not happy about that, and then I started, and that
no.
Yeah. But then I got through Mercury, and literally in a 3-minute song knew that I didn't care about the length of this album.
Yeah.
So.
Which, speaking of which, like, if you make it, I don't know, 5 seconds into Mercury, the lead-off song, you're going to know whether you like this or not.
100%. Now, to varying degrees, but I would
Absolutely.
say Mercury is a great first track because it really does kind of, it sets the scene. Like,
yep. It sets the stage early. You do get a lot of variation throughout the album, but like,
but that's
generally know what to expect.
Yeah. Not to mention, if you have heard a Clutch song, I would guess that it probably is The Mob Goes Wild. Even if you're not into this sort of thing, that was a pretty big single.
Huge single. Music video was directed, depending on which wiki page you read, by either Ryan Dunn or Bam Margera. I think it was directed by Bam and Ryan, maybe both. I don't know. They're both in it. It was during the like Viva La Bam era, CKY era. So like Bam was huge. Anything that Bam touched was huge. So by association, The Mob Goes Wild was brought into mainstream media.
I forgot completely that's, now that you said it, I remember it vividly.
Oh yeah,
but
the whole like CKY type cast is in the video.
And I do know Ryan Dunn was specifically, he had a videography background. So
he did. He made a whole movie, I think.
Yeah,
He's
so it's
now.
Probably more. Sadly, yeah. What? How did
a car crash? Yeah.
And unfortunately, I think it was being stupid, like going like 1,000 miles an hour.
I think somebody was drunk.
Yeah, it didn't work out for Bam well. He tanked after that. Yeah. Woof. All right.
Yeah.
All right. And if that makes you sad, listen to this album. It will help because there's nothing sad about it. It's very the opposite of that.
Yeah. And mainstream success again. So it debuted at Billboard 200, position 147, which is not bad.
No, not for a band like this, especially.
Heatseekers chart made it all the way up to number 4. Independent albums chart made it all the way up to number 9. So like Like, if you like Clutch, you like Clutch. There's no...
Yeah.
And if you don't, you probably don't. Some songs could maybe draw you in, but...
Yeah. I will say it's probably one of the least offensive sounding, like... I mean, it's weird. It is very odd.
It is odd.
Especially for, like, a blues-based stoner rock thing. Like, I think maybe a possible contributor to the fact that I never listened to a whole album is, like, this kind of just isn't my genre of music.
Yeah.
I don't really love this. When it gets heavier, like, you get into Maylene and old Norma Jean here and there, and some Every Time I Die is along these lines at times.
Yeah.
Like, that's pretty sick. But, like, when you get, like, into straight up stoner rock or stoner metal, I'm usually like, I'm good on that. This transcended that completely for me. I don't even know if they have peers, frankly. I don't.
Yeah.
Because I've listened to a lot of stoner metal. It just happens. I mean, if you're into metal for this long, you will be around the dude that likes doom and stoner metal,
right.
and you will hear it.
Yeah.
There's no way around it. Which it sucks that I don't like those, because there's just such an abundance of stuff out there, and I just don't like any of it. I hate doom metal. God, it's just... I don't even understand the appeal. I'm happy for everyone who likes it, because you have 10 million hours worth of music to listen to. But
right. And that's
every
only
song's
3
42
songs.
minutes long. Yeah, yeah exactly. I was so enamored with the actual album, I kind of failed to do a whole lot of diving into the band, which probably was a failure on my part.
There's honestly not a whole lot to dive into with the band. I mean, we've pretty, like, the band's the band. They tour, they write songs, they release stuff, and they just are Clutch. Like, that's their entire ethos and mythos. Like, they just exist in their own little atmosphere, like we've talked, and they just do this. And you know what? I think we're all the better for it, honestly.
I would wholeheartedly agree. And I also, just to, like, man, they're from Maryland?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think I would have guessed that. Interesting. Boy, that is... I don't know why that's surprising.
The album came out March 23rd, 2004. They're still active. They're still doing clutchy things. They had an album in 2022. It's probably good.
Yep, and based on the interview that I watched, they're halfway done writing a new one. So...
dang.
They're just doing shit, man.
Yeah.
They just do their thing.
Is it worth getting into a track-by-track breakdown? Like, I mean, there's a lot of tracks.
There are a lot of tracks. And I think to some extent, yes, maybe not, like, super deep, but, like, one thing I want to point out right up front is I was always under the impression that their lyrical content was, like, goofy.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Get where you're coming. Like, Condoleezza Rice is nice, but I prefer Aroni.
Yeah. Like, I always thought it was kind of tongue-in-cheek, which I do think it is, but it's also so intelligent.
Yes.
Like, I am a gamer, and I don't want to say a movie buff, though I do think I've seen more movies than pretty much anyone I know, so I don't know if that puts me in that category or not. But, like...
Weird flex, but all right.
So, not even a flex. I'm just, I'm bored. But, like, I love Easter eggs. Like, you know what I mean?
Yep.
His lyrical content is, like, filled with Easter eggs in a strange way. It's like...
It is.
Pointing out different, like, Greek gods and shit, and somehow tying it to, like, I don't know, Southern sweet tea. Like, I don't know how he's doing it, but, like, they're either so goofy they're coming off as smart, and it tricked me, or they are truly as smart as they seem to be, and either option is brilliant.
So,
like,
the AllMusic review kind of touches on this. Let's see. Damn it, it keeps jumping around. Uber ironic lyrics distinguished into 3 by now familiar categories. Tales of unfathomably obscure imagery, darkly comical diatribes, and politicized rants. So, like, those are the 3 things that you can lump the lyrics into.
Interesting. That's all well said. Go figure. Fucking assholes over there doing a great job.
And you know what's funny? I still don't go there for like current music reviews.
Yeah. Which, I don't know. With music, you don't have to anymore, so
That's true.
it's kind of fair because it's like you can just listen to it for the $2 you're paying a month for whatever service you pay for, and then if it sucks, it sucks, and you move on to the next thing.
You know what? That's an interesting call. But
yeah,
the review gave it a 3.5 out of 5. User review was 4 out of 5. Blabbermouth gave it an 8 out of 10. So generally well received. Yeah.
This is a very Blabbermouth album, actually, now that you point that out. Okay. I could see Blabbermouth being very, very... that's why I stopped following Blabbermouth and moved to Metal Injection, because they were just always so into this stuff.
Okay.
Which is fine, but they just seemed every time something like this came out, they'd be like, holy shit, and then like the new Inferi would come out, and they're like, we don't really get it.
Right.
And I'm like, I gotta go elsewhere.
I may have to move away from Metal Injection for a little while. They're getting a lot of like not prog metal, but like more avant-garde that they're pushing. I was like,
yeah,
which I get. But...
And like, yeah, I'm happy that someone is, because those people are so talented. I mean, they're usually above my head.
Yeah.
But I'm just not smart enough for that stuff more often than not. But, and anyway, yeah. So as far as track by track, I don't know that. I mean, there's not a bad song on this album. It seems long, and I promise that it doesn't feel it
right
when you listen to it at all. And then you get to like, which track is it?
Even the final track, that's a 6-minute instrumental, like just a jam song to close out the album. Like, yeah, it's good.
Yeah, it's really good. And then you have like track 11, Weathermaker, which is just like a 47-second long song with someone speaking Spanish over it.
Yep.
And I translated the lyrics to English, and they're really, really cool. I don't remember what they are off the top of my head. It's like, the mountain is my heart, the land is my soul. It's just cool. I was like, nice. I didn't see that coming. It's very nice. It's very pleasant.
I figured the magic of this album is largely in the lyrics. Apart from the incredible musicianship.
Yeah, well, so first off, the drummer is unbelievable.
Yeah, he's really good.
Obviously a jazz drummer. If you watch him play, it's very obvious that that's probably where his, background was. But he's incredibly good. But yeah, the lyrics are, I'm not going to say like they're the best part, but like it is literally the Spinal Tap 10 to 11 situation. Like, the album's already great, but his lyrical content is just, it's top notch. Second song, Prophets of Doom.
Oh yeah.
There's a line. It's like the first line: "Born with a mustache and a supernova."
Awesome.
I'm like, yeah. And then he's talking about Prophets of Doom, right?
Yep.
And here's the play on that. There's two lines in a row: "Swallower of planets, comma, the Prophets of Doom." Then "Quarterly projections, comma, the Prophets of Doom."
Yep.
I couldn't get enough of this shit. I was just so engrossed. It's crazy.
Ragnarok, if you want to roll.
He used Ragnarok as a verb.
Yeah.
Like, it's awesome. Fucking awesome.
Don't worry, it's
Mob
just
Goes Wild.
Stigmata.
Dude, how fucking good is that song? And it's like, I don't know what Army of Bono means, but it is definitely about Bono from U2.
Sick.
Because again, to All Music's point, he is not that low-key, very political.
Yes. And
interestingly enough, for a band that seems to teeter on the Southern flair a lot, and they're so, what word am I trying to think of? Progressive, like with their political opinions. So like, again, I didn't need them to make me love that part of them as well to love this, but it's not a bad addition to everything else. So well done, guys. Army of Bono is just amazing. Yeah. Don't worry, it's just Stigmata. Pass me a napkin, and don't you dare tell my mother. Oh my God. Yeah, I don't know. I don't have but then you get to you're at track 9, Spleen Merchant, which
Fucking
is
love
a
the name of that
hilarious. Yes. He's literally talking about how when I die, you can take my stuff, but man, I feel bad for whoever gets my spleen. I don't know. I have no idea. But
can you even donate a spleen?
I have no idea. But you're at track 9. I mean, don't get me wrong, on a long album, it's 15 tracks, but you're still past the halfway mark. And maybe the best chorus on the album?
Yeah, it's super good.
God, it's so good.
I don't know. Mob Goes Wild chorus.
But that, hey, hey, I got your heaven. Hey, hey,
oh, yeah.
I got your burning hell. It's just, the heys are so catchy. And they talked about, well, I guess we could get it. It technically ties to the production. Yeah, I mean, listen, I have 10,000 bullet points for every single one of these songs. But no, there's no sense in getting into it because truly, to your point, an hour ago at this point, but if you do make it through Mercury and you like it at track 1, you're gonna like it. I just don't see how you wouldn't. And man, listen to it. It's fucking
definitely listen
good.
to it. Listen to it multiple times too.
I listened to this for 3 days straight.
Yeah. I mean, there's a song called Subtle Hustle, and if you like words at all, that should tickle your fancy.
Yes. I got your number. I steal your thunder. I got your mother's maiden name tattooed on my arm.
I fucking love that.
Man, that is a very elegant way of saying fuck you.
Yeah.
So with that, get to the review?
I think so.
All right. Review. You don't see spleen a lot in lyrics or song titles.
Tough. I mean, it rhymes with green, I guess, so yeah, throw it in.
Yeah, I suppose so. What? He rhymed something else that I can't... I'm probably not going to be able to find it quick enough for it to really
probably
have an
rhymes
impact.
spleen with jelly somehow. I don't know.
He rhymed the word head with pendulum, and he just pronounced it pendulum.
Okay.
It's awesome. Everything is so awesome. And then you get to Worm Drink. I know we're going on to the review, but you get to track 7, Worm Drink, and I'm like, I think this might be the song that's not so good. And then you get to that woo bridge where he's doing the woos, and I'm like, you motherfucker.
Worm Drink's definitely tequila, right?
That I would assume so, okay. Yes. That would be my best guess. All right, Josh, what did you think of the artwork for Blast Tyrant by Clutch?
You know what? I should rate it a lot higher than I did, but I gave it a 3. Mostly because I don't like it.
I'm very upset.
It is an upsetting image to me.
I'm so, but that's the point of it.
I know.
It's supposed to be.
I know.
But actually, that is fair.
It's a beautifully crafted album artwork. It's weird. It goes with the album. I should rate this a 5. By all accounts, it is a 5. But I'm giving it a 3 because I am so disturbed by it.
It's funny because I think if I was that disturbed by it, it would make me give it a 5. But yeah. I don't know. But you know what? I think the whole point of that album cover is to be so left of field that it is divisive, probably.
And I think my main problem with it is it scares me off what is such a good album musically. I would pick this up and never listen to it because of the album artwork, and I would miss out on the incredible songs that are part of the album, and I'd be like, oh, fuck.
Man, that's funny, because this is the album. So I gave it a 5.
Good. Good.
Because if I saw this, and my first note for it is if I was walking through Dingleberries, as we used to do, if I saw that album artwork, I would buy it because of it. I'd be like, yes. Right. Yep. I don't know what this has going on, but I need to know what it has going on because this is crazy. Because that's why I got into All Shall Perish, like the cover of whatever that album is, Modern Day Slavery or something about slaves. Because the artwork is insane. It's like upsetting.
I have to look this
to
up.
look at. Or at least I remember it being that. And I bought the album because of that. I was like, well, this looks nuts.
Oh, it's that one. Okay. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
So that. Okay.
Yeah. In real life, especially, it was like, especially when I was, I don't know, 16 or 17, I was like, what the fuck? What?
I have to find a way to send this to you. I'm gonna text this to you. Sorry about my clicking, everybody.
I mean,
sorry about my clicking, 11 people. Who are very much appreciated, by the way.
Yes, we love you very much.
You know, I should have just screenshotted it. Okay, I just sent the image.
Oh my god. That is fucking incredible.
Yeah.
There are wonderful people in this world, and I wish
know.
there were more of them.
I know.
Oh, I need whoever made that to run for president. Oh.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the call.
Yeah. Wow. Okay. Fantastic. Jesus. All right. What did you think of the production then versus now?
Man, it's probably I gave it a 4, but it's probably got to be a 5.
I mean, I gave it a 5. I couldn't find a single thing wrong with it.
Yeah, there really isn't. There isn't a thing wrong. There's a lot going on too. Like, there's probably a didgeridoo or a zither in this album somewhere.
Zither.
So, and I love, like, there's an openness, like there's a liveness to the space that gets captured on this album. I think it's really great. The sound is incredible.
Yeah, it's super good, and they make some weird choices where like I think it's the end of Army of Bono, where for some reason all of a sudden the bass is panned hard right and the guitar's panned hard left, and they are not mixed together. They're completely separate.
Yeah,
and I'm like, cool. I've never heard anyone do that before in my life, and yeah, just shit like that. And also, you know what kind of pissed me off about this in a strange way after doing Zayo last week, was like, you've got Zayo, one of the heaviest chaotic metalcore bands in existence, and especially in 2004.
Right.
Maybe not now, but in 2004, there was basically no substitute for them. With the paper thinniest guitar tone that doesn't sound metal by any measure. And then you get this Clutch album, which is a blues-based stoner, rock, stoner, metal, whatever you want to call it, album with one of the heaviest guitar tones I've ever heard.
It's so thick.
It's fucking huge.
Yeah.
That shit is massive. The bass is massive. The drums are massive. And somehow the dude figured out a way to make it all work together. I mean, really, it should be almost too much.
Yeah.
Like,
it should sound like Hate Eternal.
Yeah, yes, right. It should just be blowing your eardrums out, but the dude found a way to make everything sound as big as the Machine person, which he has done so much shit.
I believe it.
Like, it's an outrageous, one of the more impressive production credit lists I've seen.
You know what's so clutch about this? Like, and I don't mean that like, oh, this is clutch.
Like,
I mean that like
as the band,
Clutchian.
Yeah.
Apparently, this was their first time using digital recording.
It's awesome.
Yeah,
it's awesome. And like, he talked a lot about Machine in that interview that I watched. He goes, "There's no chance this album would have been this good without that guy." He was just like, it was the first time, like, we've had producers on every album, but a lot of our albums, we were kind of the main producers.
Yeah.
And he's like, this was the first guy who, like, he went through our whole back catalog and he made like a whole list mapping thing of all the best parts that he thought sounded most Clutchian.
Nice.
And he compiled them all together and said, what were you thinking when this happened? What was your mood? What was whatever? Why did it work here? And why didn't you ever go back to that thought and that idea? And like, and he was like, hey, this part is clearly a chorus, but why didn't you write it like a chorus? I mean, we all know it's a chorus, so let's make it a chorus. And it's like, and then the other thing that I loved, he was just like, and then we know this is a verse. But again, you didn't really write it as a verse, so let's make it a verse, and let's just give Neil all the space in the world to do all the incredible things that he does. He's like, and I'm like, and all of that is accurate. Like, I don't know if I needed it explained to me, but hearing a member from the band talk it out, I'm like, yeah, that is what happened, clearly.
That's super cool.
Yeah, so, yeah.
Speaking of all that, the first introduction to Neil's vocals on this album are just panned hard right, and it's just him.
Yep. It's amazing.
Yeah.
And it's very effective.
Yeah.
And so, a bizarre choice. I never would have thought to. It's the panned right thing that's weird. Like,
yeah. Like,
but it's
a lot of people would think to like, oh, I'm going to introduce this vocal like by itself. We're going to drop out the music and he's going to start the show. But like they also panned it hard right.
And it's, again, it seems gimmicky almost, but it's so effective.
Yeah.
Like, it's odd. What did you end up? Where are you giving this, by the way?
I bumped it up to a 5.
Okay, so,
like, it just is. I don't know why I ever thought it might be a 4. I don't know.
Well, I will say that in my notes that the only reason I could have knocked it to a 4 was because it was so on the verge of being too abrasive. But
yeah, like
sonically abrasive. But the fact that it's so close without going over almost impresses me more. Because like that's how you get what you think you want out of a sound, and that's the way to execute it in a way that doesn't make it bad.
Yeah.
Like it can easily go bad. I've done it. Where it's like, no, I want a huge guitar and I want a huge bass, and then it just sounds like a bunch of mud.
Right. The transition from the second to last song to the last song, because there's like a fade out where it gets really quiet, and then the last song comes in like kind of loud. That would be the only knock on it for me.
Yeah. All right. This is a bummer.
Yeah.
But yeah, it is what it is. This is why we chose this.
Well, yeah. Why don't you hit us with your impact at the time number?
So here's the thing. I'm going to be a hypocrite openly. This should be a 1. It had no impact on me at all in 2004, though Mob Goes Wild was on the Sounds of the Underground DVD.
Yeah,
CD.
I was going to say that can't possibly be true.
Yeah. So it's either a 2 or a 3. I just don't. I'm going to give it a 3 out of my love for the album.
There you go.
Just because I don't want to knock it so far down with my 2.
There you go.
But yeah, I mean, it was in that whole space of Bam and Viva La Bam and Jackass and all that stuff. Right. It was very prevalent in all that. So now that you've brought that up, actually makes me feel pretty comfortable in giving it a 3, because musically it had no impact on me whatsoever, but culturally and otherwise it was a lot more than I think I remembered before you said that.
Nice. I gave it a 2 for much the same reasons, but like Clutch, the song Mob Goes Wild in particular definitely infiltrated, and like, you know, it kind of maybe was on the start of our interest in Southern rock, or some of those sounds that we pulled in from.
Yeah.
Like I never got into Maylene, but like we definitely all kind of had a tinge of wanting to wear flannel and grow beards.
Yep. And 20 years later, I was able to do one of those things.
Yep. Wear a flannel.
Exactly. But yeah, you're right. I mean, I was super into that stuff, and I was trying to shoehorn it in the most obnoxious spaces and songs and stuff. So yeah, that's a fair point. Well, how much? This is a no-brainer for me, so I'll let you go. How much did you enjoy listening to it today?
Boy, the first time I gave it a 3. Listening to it again today, I'm going to bump it up to a 4. I mean, because I didn't dive too hard into the lyrics, and if you do, I'm sure it gets to a 5 real fast. But like overall, the album's well composed. The songs are upbeat and catchy. They slow it down at points, which is super nice and kind of refreshing. Yep. Keeps it from being like too much of the same. So
yeah,
but it did get a little long for me at 54 and a half minutes. I'm like, I could do something else.
That's fair. Yeah.
I didn't necessarily want to turn it off. I just wanted to do something else.
Yeah, that's fair. I don't really have an argument for that. I gave it a 5.
Yeah,
but
it's fun. So like,
yeah, I mean, I genuinely didn't skip a track or change. Like I begrudgingly went to Bury Your Dead. Like nice. I didn't even want to. Like so
pretty incredible.
Yeah. Well, wait until next week. I have opinions.
Damn.
Yeah, it is kind of interesting. Like, we don't do this very often, but so next week we're doing Bury Your Dead, Cover Your Tracks, which was such a pivotal album for me in 2004.
Yeah.
But I had no interest in listening to it because I was having such a good time listening to this. Like, none whatsoever. I was like, man, I have to turn this fun thing off to go listen to this guy cry for like however many minutes long. I don't want to do 30. That. Yeah, it is pretty short. It's not bad. So yeah, I give it a 5. And that, with that, Josh is coming in with a 14.
Yeah.
I'm coming in with an 18 for a 32.
That's pretty damn good.
It is pretty good.
This album's pretty damn good.
I absolutely adore this album. Like,
now, I'm super curious to know what your favorite track is going to be. I mean, obviously it's Mob Goes Wild.
No.
What?
No.
Damn.
No, Mob Goes Wild. Now, here's the thing. I'm going to pull rank again. I don't know who I'm pulling rank on. There is no rank. But Mob Goes Wild is going on our playlist, regardless of the answer. But I actually, after listening to the whole thing, don't even think it's... Here's the thing about these two that I just want to say. They're like... I so badly wish more musicians took this approach to music. Like... But at the same time, I don't know how many people can pull it off. It's so interesting. Like, it's so unique of a thing that... And I'm just so happy to have found... I don't know. It just made me so fucking happy the whole time. Like, this is so unique. These dudes are so obviously having a good time.
Right.
They are being serious while not taking themselves seriously at all. And it's just like, this is just the perfect combination of really generally what I want, I think, from music. I mean, obviously... I'm not just going to start being into stoner metal all of a sudden. That's never going to happen. But, like, anyway.
Suck it, stoner metal.
The only problem I'm having, the worst part about this album is having to pick a favorite.
Right.
It's either Army of Bono or Spleen Merchant.
Those are two really good options.
God. I'll go with Army of Bono because just that don't worry, it's just stigmata thing is awesome. Just fucking awesome.
That's sick.
What about you?
I favored the slower tracks on the album. Like, I really liked the Regulator. I like the acoustic guitar and the slowdown. It's a nice break kind of in the first third of the album. And then I picked Ghost as my favorite. It's a super nice kind of slow change of pace, but it's got some of his broader vocal range on it. I like the deep voice. The deep voice. The river out on the Isles of Eve. The Sons of Cain really do receive no reprieve. So
true. That is accurate. In theory.
Yeah. So I picked Ghost. I think it's a great song.
Ghost. Awesome. It is. It's a great song.
And between the 3 songs that are going on the playlist, I think that gives a nice breadth.
Yeah.
Sampling.
I would agree. And if you're gonna only listen to our favorites, just maybe also listen to Spleen Merchant.
Yeah, definitely listen to Spleen Merchant. It's only 2.5 minutes. It won't take you much time.
No, you'll knock it out. God, these fucking guys are awesome.
Speaking somewhat of it, did you watch the Game Ranks video, like, I think yesterday? talking about like developers lying. And there was like this unachievable achievement, and the developers kept patching it and changing it.
Yeah.
I get it.
Yeah, and then they like once they figured out if you didn't like accept the new patch, then you could actually unlock it. And they were like, "Fine, we thought we were being fun."
Yeah.
And it was just like there is a fine line between being cheeky and being a complete asshole.
Yeah.
It's like the gamers who are completionists are almost not even fun about it.
Right.
Like it's like a psychosis.
Yeah.
Like that is like their psychosis.
There is no joy in it for them.
No, it's an addiction. It's an absolute need that they cannot live without. Yeah, that's so fucking funny. Anyway, if anyone watches Gamer Ranks, and you know, I can't think of a single person that'd be listening to this that watches that, but
I couldn't imagine anyone listening to this that wouldn't also watch that. So I guess we're
fair enough.
Yeah.
You both are possible. Yeah. Anyway,
it's a very it's almost one circle, the Venn diagram of people.
Yeah. Yeah, that's fair enough. The reason we pick favorite songs outside of it just kind of being a thing that sometimes is very difficult is because we're going to add them to our TDTL favorites playlist on Spotify.
Yeah.
So check that out if you so choose. Again, I say it every time, but it just gets more and more interesting, and this does not. This furthers that. So
catch it.
I mean, you had yeah. But you have Zayo and then Clutch.
Yeah.
It's awesome. And then check us out at Instagram, TDTL_podcast, if you would like to do that. Yeah. I got nothing. Great album. Check it out.
Catch it.
Salty Swayze.
Yep. With that, he's been Brad, I've been Josh, and we've been 2 Decades, 2 Ways.